Welcome to Integrity Inspire, your daily dose of inspiration and motivation, featuring the bright and talented members of the Integrity Marketing Group family. Now, here's your host, Integrity co-founder and CEO, Brian W. Adams.
Hello, Integrity family. I'm so excited to be back with you on Inspire. And today we have another exciting announcement. As we talked a few weeks ago, we've really been focusing on how to build out our full leadership for life, health, and wealth. And with our leader that we've got with Ryan Kimball on the health side, it's been amazing to see what they've been able to do. And as we're ramping up for AAP, it's going to be another incredible year because of the amazing people that we have in our business and the leadership that we have as well. And then we recently announced that Tess Grace has joined us as president of Integrity Life. Really building out our life insurance component is a really important part of the Integrity platform and what we're able to do here. And today, I am super excited to announce that Victor Sanchez is joining us as the vice president of Integrity Life to really come and help us build out this entire platform. Now, Victor has been an amazing leader in the insurance industry. He spent almost 20 years at World Financial Group in Transamerica, leading a lot of different efforts. He most recently was really helping lead day-to-day a lot of the World Financial Group aspect of the business. And you might remember we brought in Tom Dempsey, who was CEO of World Financial Group about a year ago. And so we've been talking to Victor for quite some time about the opportunities that we've been working on here at Integrity. Now, Victor is one of these amazing leaders that I know that you will be inspired by today, and I can't wait to hear more of his stories. So, Victor, hey man, welcome to the Integrity family, brother.
Thank you for having me. I'm just honored to be a part of this family. I've been a fan for several years, a partner on some fronts, and I've seen what you guys were building, and just being candid, I wanted to be a part of it. It was just super exciting. And now that I'm on the inside, the energy, the culture, it's palpable. And I'm just honored to be here.
Well, man, Victor, we could not be more excited to finally have you as part of the Integrity family. I know we've actually worked together on certain products and different things in the past that
Yes.
you've been associated with Integrity and some of our partners. And then, recently you were working with Tom and all the different things that y'all were doing there at World Financial Group. And you guys did some amazing things. You've accomplished a lot at World Financial Group, and we've got the utmost respect for that company and Transamerica as a whole. They've been a great partner of ours for so many years. But as you were kind of looking from the outside into Integrity, what was it that attracted you to come here?
Multiple factors. Number one, just seeing the growth. It seemed like every other day there was a new organization that was becoming part of Integrity. And even in one of my prior roles at Transamerica, looking at who are our top production partners in certain product lines, and Integrity kind of owned the whole space. And so we're like, wow, they're really moving the needle. And then I remember being at NALBA and seeing just the large presence of Integrity, and that's where I started to learn like how dedicated you guys were, more important, helping families, building on technology, and expanding your reach through partnering with so many different organizations. It was just exciting. And every other week it was like, what is happening at Integrity? What are they doing over there? What are they building? So many industry leaders I was personally reaching out to. Can you tell me more about their model? What's happening? Because I only saw it through a distribution perspective.
Right.
And then Tom Dempsey came over, and of course I started to learn more from him. And I just became a fan, not just with what you're doing from a acquisition perspective, but what you're doing from a technology perspective, the platform you're building, and then just the amount of reach you can have to fulfill your purpose, our purpose of life, health, and wealth. It was just something I wanted to be a part of. I mean, everybody wants to be part of the winning team.
Right.
And so I saw what you were doing, and I was like, I hope I can be a free agent signing someday and join that organization.
Well, listen, I think the key to building great teams is having great people in the right positions. And that's why we're so excited to have you on board, have Tess now on board, and looking for ways for us to serve more people. Now, you have an interesting background. First of all, you were at Transamerica for almost 20 years.
Yes.
So I know that's got to be a bit of a bittersweet transition
is.
that you moved to this new role. So I know that that's an exciting thing. But you, growing up, you grew up in East LA, as I understand, and your family, you had some interesting family life things that went on, but your stepdad, and I've heard you talk about this in some of your public speaking and things of that nature, your stepdad had a huge part and role in your life. Tell us a little bit about kind of your history, how you grew up, and what led you to the insurance industry.
That's it's an interesting story because one of the talks that I get asked for a lot is to do leadership training, but leadership training ultimately turns into my personal story
Yeah.
because I think when you talk about leadership, most people view that through the eyes of a professional life, and there's a huge impact there. But I think it starts in your personal life, and I had a front row seat to what true leadership is from a parental perspective.
Yeah.
So my story sounds like an ABC special, Sunday special. Born in East LA, Hispanic kid. My mom, she was a child of 12, and her mom, my grandmother, died at an early age from cancer,
Wow.
and so they got split to foster homes. And she was an identical twin, my mom, and so being separated from your twin is even
Oh my
harder.
gosh.
And so that led to a lot of runaways, a lot of homeless nights. And obviously, that environment is not, we're probably going to meet the right partner. And so she met my biological father, who is a heroin addict, was a heroin addict. And when he went to prison, she made, I consider, the first leadership decision that affected my life by saying, hey, this is not the life I'm going to give my son. I care about you, but I need to give him a better life. And so she left him to raise me on her own. And fortunately, she met what most people call my stepdad, but he's my dad. He raised me since I was 8 months old.
Wow.
And he and her taught and stressed the importance of family, hard work, education. At every turn, we would talk about that. So
My gosh, that is such an interesting part of your story, and I can't imagine what that was like. One, for her, but certainly for you growing up. And thank God for people that come along in our lives like your dad. And I love that you said some people might call him my stepdad, but he's your dad, and the impact that he's had on really what you've done. Now, you went to USC. By the way, USC is
fight on, everybody.
Man, listen, USC is that's an incredible school, and you got a psychology degree from USC. What led you to psychology?
Well, it's a direct reflection of the story we were just talking about, because while I was fortunate to have that household parental guidance, whatever you want to call it, I grew up though with lots of cousins, aunts, and uncles who were heavily involved in drugs, gangs, prison. Even the women in my family went to prison. So it was a pretty interesting environment to grow up in. And I saw what that did to my cousins and their lives. And so I wanted to have an impact, change that future for the kids that were growing up in the communities that I was raised. And I thought, if I can go get a psychology degree, maybe get a PhD, maybe open a community center, and have an outlet to help people, because I know what leadership meant to me. I know what it meant for my mom and dad, and try to give that to people as an alternative to what I saw. So that's ultimately what led me. So it really was service-driven, purpose-driven, and that ultimately segued into another way to help the same communities.
And so you graduated with a psychology degree from USC, one of the most prestigious universities, certainly in the U.S. And then you got out, and I love your purpose-driven heart. One of the things I love are people who are really servant leaders and have a servant's heart and look for ways to give back. And that's one of the things that resonated with me while we were getting to know each other, was just kind of your heart in that way. So you graduate, most people will be like, hey, I'm going to go try to make some money, but you went into social work.
Yes.
What led you into social work, and what was that like?
Seeing what kids were going through, the environment that I grew up in, I thought that if they can have a figure like I had and my dad to help them, that could change a child's life. And so I worked with inner city youth, kids that were prenatally exposed to drugs, foster homes, what have you, but they just needed someone to coach them, guide them, be a positive force in their life, just like what I had. And so that's really what drove me into that environment and that choice of professional work. But the interesting thing is, as I was at those homes meeting with the parents, there's multiple factors that impact their environment. The one common thread I saw was a lack of financial literacy. And so it was almost a light bulb moment that there's another way to help these families. Because let's just face it, the big financial institutions are not necessarily knocking on their doors because they don't have assets to work with. And so I thought, well, here's another way to help this community bring something in that they're not exposed to and just get them started on the right track. And so that's
and so is that how you led into the insurance business?
That's it.
What was that like? How did you make that transition? Who recruited you? What was the process like?
You know, it's funny. As I started to send my resume to these different organizations, nobody would interview me because I had 7 years of nonprofit. Inner city youth counselor. I worked at Meals on Wheels. My dad was a chef there for 30 years.
Yeah.
And so a lot of financial institutions were too eager to recruit me. And I thought, well, hey, look, I'm young, I'm not married, I don't have a lot of obligations. If I'm ever gonna bet on myself, now's the time. And I truly believe that if money's your primary driving force, you're not gonna last.
Yeah.
And so
you can never have enough.
And that's
a byproduct. You'll never have enough. It's got to be about something more, right?
I love that. And that's really what helped me. It was my purpose that got me in. And even though I didn't know how to spell life insurance, I knew that I'm coachable and I'll learn what I got to learn and go out there and start helping people. And fortunately, it worked out.
And you started working door to door. You were actually helping people in their homes.
Yes, nights and weekends.
Which is the way I got started as well.
Yep.
You also remind me a lot of Sean Mike. I don't know if you know this. Sean actually started out as a social worker as well.
Wow.
And then got into the life insurance industry and just kind of found a whole new way to serve people as part of that. And it's one of the reasons I think that you're so successful, that Sean's so successful, so many others are so successful, because you really have this opportunity to meet people where they are in a different way and make sure that we're really protecting them and providing for them. Now, I know you've touched a lot about insurance and now, your background with social work. I know that you've been talking how critical mentors have been in your life and something you want to be as a great mentor to other people.
Yes.
How big of that, part of that has been part of your success?
I would say all of it. Leadership is everything. Everything starts from the top. It started with my mom and my dad and them leaders. When I came to Transamerica, I was blessed to meet some industry legends who, people like Michael Babiki and Marty Fluell and Joe DePaula, the list goes on and on.
All of those great people.
Ron Wagley. And I was blessed that these individuals took me under their wing, coached me, taught me everything from soft skills of leadership, emotional intelligence, to how to dress, perception, just all the intangibles that are required. And it changed my life. And it's part of the reason why I'm here, because of what you built as a leader. Tom Dempsey was one of those mentors.
Yeah.
And, you want to be around great leaders. And so when Tom left, it was heartbreaking. In fact, the Friday that he was his last day at Transamerica, I was physically in his house that Sunday.
Really?
And I was like, what are you doing to me, man? And so, he said, hey, just be patient. You never know when our paths will cross again. And here we are a year later. I'm part of the Integrity family, and it's all because of leadership. So.
That's awesome. I love the fact that we recognize leadership like that, because one of the things we've been doing is investing heavily in leadership. We just concluded our first round of Leadership Academy experience with Tom Ziegler and the Zig Ziglar Corporation. It's been incredible to see the impact that we've had on integrity, which ultimately will impact the industry, on just getting back to basics on leadership, about our core values and about doing all the different things that we're all focused on here at Integrity. And I love that you talk about being purpose-driven. There's just that passion that you have also, I think, attracts other people. And it'll allow you to come alongside of these amazing groups that we already have and say, how can I serve you?
Yes.
And the best leaders are servant leaders in my mind. And we've been seeing just so many great results from our leadership experience. Now, I know that you talk about 3 keys to your success. Let's talk about those for a second.
Well, it's interesting how it kind of comes full circle when we talk about my personal story, where I come from, and really that was part of the leadership training I would give.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what those resulted in were the three key takeaways that I learned from the individuals that I talked about, including Tom Dempsey. And that, first and foremost, I believe you got to be coachable. And I'm going to live that as I start here at Integrity, learning from the Sean Mikes, the Patricks, the Huberts. These are legends of our industry. So I'm going to be coachable with them, but that served me well growing up. Some people don't like to hear criticism. They take it personally. I knew that when it came from those leaders, it was coming from a right place and they just wanted me to get better. And so I always thought that if I remain coachable to the day I die, I'm going to keep learning, keep growing, and good things happen. So that's number one, be coachable. Number two, and this was something that I learned early on, I didn't like being in a management role, a leadership role, even though they had higher title, higher compensation, because I always thought about the impact it had on me, worrying about people's schedules, telling people what to do, dealing with headaches, all the things that you probably get to deal with on a daily basis. But it wasn't until one of my mentors said, you're looking at leadership the wrong way. If you focus on your team's success instead of your own, it will change your entire relationship with being in a leadership position. And so I became obsessed with helping people get to where they want to go.
Yeah.
And organically, it just became fun. It became competitive. Like, how many people can I get promoted in a corporate environment? And next thing you know, people started getting promoted. They were leaving my team, and other leaders would say, "Hey, they're rating your team. Aren't you mad?" I said, "No, that's my job as a leader.
Great compliment, yeah.
It's my job as a leader is to build these people." And so, if you help people get where they want to go, you'll get where you want to go. That's the bottom line.
And then you also talk about complacency. And how that is akin to failure.
Yes.
I love that point. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, complacency is akin to failure. It's something I truly believe. You either are getting better or you're getting worse. There's no in-betweens. And in a lot of the organizations that we work with, that I've worked with in World Financial Group, and I'm sure, Patrick's had to deal with this, Hubert, Sean Mike, you have so many people that achieve a certain amount of success for the first times in their lives. They're making money they've never made before. And they celebrate, and then they continue to celebrate, and then years go by and they're in the same place. They never evolve. And so that's what I love about. I know you love sports. I love sports. I love in the NFL, they have something called the 24-hour rule, where if you win, that's awesome, celebrate for 24 hours, and then you're on to the next game. But same thing if you lose. You could be sad, be mad, but after 24 hours, you're on to the next game. And I believe that that's how, whether it's professional or personal life, I want to continue to be a better dad. Today's my daughter's birthday. So what can I do to be a better dad to her, a better husband? Same thing with professional. I'm joining Integrity. This is a dream to be here, but I want to earn it, and I want to continue to earn it. And so I truly believe that if you start reading your own press clippings, you're going to find yourself on the outside looking in pretty quickly.
Yeah, look, I think you bring up an incredible point. And one of the things I get concerned about is when somebody just kind of slows down. And look, I understand, sometimes you got to take a break.
100%.
The 24-hour rule is a legit rule, because if you think about the great people out there, the greatest people, I loved a story I read about Patrick Mahomes the other day. He was talking about he wasn't one of the highest paid quarterbacks anymore. And he said, I'm taking care of my family's taken care of. I'm now focused on legacy. And man, when you think about how much more can I give, this impact, Ryan Kimball talks about this all the time. He's like, we're in such an incredible position that we can impact so many people's lives. And if it weren't for this opportunity, there's no telling where there's probably no other opportunity for us to have that type of impact, especially on an industry as big as the insurance and financial services, or just the impact we can have on all the time. We're just getting started.
Yes.
And I truly believe that. I truly believe we're just getting started. And bringing in great guys like you are a great example. Now, we're a core values-driven business. Yes. We talk about our values. They're on the wall right outside of here. It talks about integrity is one of our core values. Just doing what you say you'll do when you say you'll do it, even when no one else is watching, 100%. And doing the right thing. It's about family. It's about talking about providing for our families, like you talk about your daughter. And I know you're actually going to fly out and be with your daughter tonight, and then you're meeting back up with me tomorrow yes. because family matters, right? And then the American families that we have the impact to serve is a really important part of how we can help them with the financial literacy that you were just talking about. It's about service. We're not a sales organization, we're a service organization. And I truly believe if we serve enough people,
Mm-hmm.
then everything else will take care of itself. The cells will take care of themselves.
Yes.
Zig Ziglar said, if you can help enough people get what they want, then you can have everything that you want. And I believe in that wholeheartedly.
1,000%.
It's about respect. It's about treating people the way that God created them and treating people with respect. And then it's about partnership. And for us here at Integrity, it's been a huge part of attracting other partners to join the Integrity family, but also making sure that all of our employees are also part of the Integrity family. And I know for you, that was also something that was really important. Not only the technology that we've been investing in, and there's no other organization that has the technology that we have, and we've been building that and investing heavily in technology to better equip our agents and our advisors to help them serve more people.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes back to our core values.
100%.
The product development. I mean, we work with over 500 insurance carriers today. Wow. That we're able to go out and serve even more people with options to get them in the right plans, in the right way, to make sure that they're covered regardless of anything else. We want to make sure we're putting them in the right place. And it's about partnership, and it's about employee ownership. In 2019, one of the greatest things that we did is we made the tough decision to say we're going to take part of our equity and give that to every employee, because I truly believe that ownership is one of, and equity, that you will serve people better as an owner of the business. So whatever your title is, and we talk about this all the time with all of our employees, is we're an employee-owned organization. And we say, listen, whatever your title is, it should also say owner. And you should, because fundamentally, one, I believe people believe in the American dream of ownership, and that's how you create wealth. Is by equity, value, and ownership. But the other part is that's how you serve people better, is because as an owner, you take care of things differently.
Yes.
You serve people better, and that's where we're so focused on our core values and living out that core value. I know that was a big part of what you said is, listen, I want to be part of something bigger than I am today, and I want to be an owner of it.
Yes, I didn't believe when I heard about the ownership structure. Yeah. I watched all the YouTube videos in Integrity. I talked to people that worked here, and they said it's real. And I thought, this is a company putting their money where their mouth is. There's a lot of companies that have these words on walls, but you guys are truly living it. And I've talked to people that have benefited from it. And it was amazing because it creates an alignment, it creates a vested interest, and it has everybody marching towards a common purpose. So partnering with people like Sean, Mike, that you mentioned, or Patrick, or these individuals, the employees that are here, we all have a common purpose to drive, obviously, value, because we're now owners. And the way we do that is by helping people. I usually say that we're in a for-profit business, but what we do is nonprofit in nature. Yeah. Because the way we make that profit is by helping more people. And if we can participate in the ownership, as you said, then that's just the cherry on top. So it's just amazing, and I'm just so honored to be here.
Well, so as part of a new employee onboarding, whenever every employee comes and joins Integrity, every partner that's here at Integrity, everyone has ownership in the company. And that was one of the things, when I went to Steve Young back in 2019 and said, hey, I want to become an employee-owned company, it was one of those things like, hold on, that's not how this works. Like, you're going to give away our equity? It's been the best investment, period, that we could have made. Wow. And we've paid out a lot of money. And our employees own a ton of this company. And I can tell you, it's been one of the biggest ways that we've been able to accomplish so much more and go so much faster and further, because we're able to attract so many incredible leaders. And so when we onboard a new employee, they also become an employee owner, and we usually send that out through some links and some things of that nature. I know you're kind of an old school guy, which I am as well, so you didn't know I was going to do this, but I actually brought your employee ownership agreement here with us today, because I know that was an important part. This is your shareholder agreement that every one of our employees and partners have actually gotten, and this is actually your personal agreement that I wanted to present to you personally, to show you so you can have. I went ahead and signed it beforehand. Every good salesman always has a pen. Yes. So I would love to make it official here as part of this, because every one of the employees that are on this call today and every partner has had this moment where they've gotten to sign as well and become an owner. And we want to welcome you as the newest partner to the Integrity family.
Well, Brian, thank you so much. It's hard to not get emotional. This is a big moment for me, thinking about my mom and my dad, but I'm going to go ahead and make sure I do the pen the right way. I'm coachable. I told you, I'm coachable.
Well, I'll leave this with you, man. And this is a huge day for all of us that now you become an Integrity owner, Integrity partner.
It's an honor.
What we're going to be able to do here to help serve even more people is going to be really just the beginning. And that's why I say that we're just getting started all the time by bringing in incredible leaders who have had incredible careers and have learned so much, and have them be able to bring those resources and that knowledge and expertise, just like bringing in Tess and other leaders that we've just recently brought in. We want to be able to take this to a whole new level. And by all being aligned, by being partners, there's no limit to what we can do. So welcome to the family.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm honored.
Thank
honored
you for
to be here.
Being part of the family. And I hope you're as excited as I am to welcome Victor Sanchez to the Integrity family. This is an exciting day for all of us. And combined, we're going to be able to do even more to serve even more people with their good days ahead. God bless you all and have a great week. Take care.